السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. الحمد لله رب العالمين، أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله، صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وصحبه والتابعين وتابعيهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين. أما بعد, inshallah, today our topic is Al-Khuluq. Al-Khuluq, or the character, having good character, or the station of character. And the book that I was using did not actually have this subject or this topic, so I decided to do that from the book Madarij al-Salikin by Imam Ibn al-Qayyim, as it is a topic that we need so much these days, as we are, staying home and staying together, and we need to, inshallah, have the best character. And Al-Imam Ibn al-Qayyim, alayhi rahmatullah, he actually says about this section of his book, Madarij al-Salikin, he says that it is from the most beneficial sections of the book for those who care, those who care about this matter, the matter of reforming and fixing the heart and purifying the soul in a way that you will have a good character. So he considers this as one of the stations, as the different stations. This word station here, manazil or manzil, singular, manazil plural. So imagine yourself, you are on your way to paradise, inshallah ta'ala, and you have stations on the way, right? Every time you go to another station, to another station. This is how he put his book. So you have patience, you have tawakkul, reliance, and so on. So each one of them, he considers it to be a station on the road way to paradise. And one of them is Al-Khuluq. Al-Khuluq. And he mentions the statement of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in Surah Al-Qalam, describing his Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, وَإِنَّكَ لَعَلَى خُلُقٍ عَظِيمٍ. Surely you are upon a great character. And he explains this great character from Ibn Abbas and Mujahid, that they said لَعَلَى دِينٍ عَظِيمٍ, that you are upon a great religion, a great religion. That is, of course, the religion of Islam, which no religion is accepted in the sight of Allah, subhanahu wa ta'ala, except the religion of Al-Islam. And he mentions the well-known hadith of Aisha radiallahu anha, when she was asked about his character, alayhi salatu wassalam. So she said, kana khuluquhu al-Quran, that his character was actually the Quran, meaning the practical implementation of what is in the Quran. And he mentioned the ayah, which it is said that it has all of the noble manners gathered together in it, in Surah Al-A'raf 199. خذ العفو وأمر بالعرف وأعرض عن الجاهلين. خذ العفو, take from the people. It could be translated as be pardoning, pardon the people, or it could mean take from the people whatever their abilities, whatever they can do for you. Don't pressure them, don't force them, don't squeeze them and corner them to do things that their souls is not easygoing, is not like easily giving this. Take from the people what they can give you easily, what they can do easily, without being pressured and being squeezed. خذ العفو وأمر بالعرف, and command that which is known to be good, known to be good from the Sharia legislation, known to be good from the customs, العقل يعني the sound mind and the sound customs and habits say this is good, right? Alongside with it being good in the Sharia. وأعرض عن الجاهلين. Turn away from the ignorant people, meaning when ignorant people treat you in an ignorant fashion, do not deal with them in the same way. Turn away from that. Do not repay them. Do not treat them in the same way they have done. He mentions the hadith which we have done also in the 50 hadith, which says righteousness is good character. Righteousness is good character. And he mentions other ahadith in this regard, that the best of you are the ones who are the best in their character, that the heaviest thing on the scale is good character, that the ones who have the best character will be the closest to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam in paradise, and so on, so forth. Before going on, I would like to quote the Sheikh of Imam Ibn al-Qayyim, alayhi rahmatullah, and that is Al-Imam Ibn Taymiyyah, alayhi rahmatullahi ta'ala, as he mentions, and this is something I did quote before. For those of you who have heard it, they will hear it again, inshallah. He says that جماع الخلق الحسن مع الناس, the good character with people, the يعني if you want a word describing to you, to gather together for you, to collect for you, to put all together, to put all in one, right? Regarding good character with the people, what is it? He says, and I mentioned this hadith before, but I will mention it, the words and his explanation for it. The hadith says, أن تصل من قطعك, that you connect with those who cut you off. Imam Ibn Taymiyyah rahimahullah, he says, to connect with those who cut you off with as-salam, giving them the greetings of peace, wal ikram, honoring them, wad-du'a lahu, to make dua for them, wal istighfar, asking forgiveness for them, والثناء عليه, and to praise them, to mention them in good words, والزيارة له, and to visit the person. That's the first piece. The hadith says, وَتُعْطِيَ مَنْ حَرَمَكَ, good character. And this explains the ayah that was mentioned from Surah Al-A'raf. And I mentioned the hadith just a few days back, that Jibreel alayhi salatu wasalam came and told Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam that you give the one who deprived you. تُعْطِيَ مَنْ حَرَمَكَ, to give the one who deprived you. He explains, to give the one who deprived you what? What do you give him? من التعليم, of teaching him. والمنفعة, benefit. والمال, money. وتعفو عمن ظلمك. This is the third piece of the hadith, that you pardon the one who oppressed you. He says, you pardon him regarding what? في دم, regarding blood. أو مال, wealth. أو عرض, honor. He says, وبعض هذا واجب وبعضه مستحب. Some of this is a must, and some of it is only recommended. This that was mentioned before, what to do, the good character, what is expected of you in terms of good character with the people is this. And some of this is actually a must upon you to do, and some of it is just recommended from you. Then he explains that Al-Khuluq al-Azim, the great character that the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ was described with, then he says, فهو الدين الجامع لجميع ما أمر الله به مطلقا. It is the religion that gathers together all that Allah commanded in general, absolutely, and in all aspects. مطلقا, everything that Allah commanded everything that Allah commanded, and as a religion for us to follow, then this is al-khuluq al-azim. This is the great character that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was upon. And he mentioned the hadith of Aisha that his character was the Quran. Then he explains, Imam Ibn Taymiyyah explains, he says, وَحَقِيقَتُهُ, what is the reality of that? What is the reality of what is mentioned here? That the great character is all that Allah commanded as a religion. That is the great character that you need to be upon. He says, حقيقته, the reality of it is المبادرة, to rush, to rush إلى امتثال ما يحبه الله تعالى بطيب نفس وانشراح صدر. It is for you to rush, to hasten, to carry out what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves with a good soul and a chest that is comfortable, that is at peace, right? And you come to it, you come to doing the command of Allah, to applying it with a soul, with a self that is at peace and comfort to, to doing that, not like being dragged or forced or like this. You come, you rush. That is the great character. That uh, Al-Khuluq Al-Azim, that is the great religion that Rasulullah SAW was upon. And the reality of that is to rush to applying what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves with a peaceful mind, a peaceful soul, with comfort and satisfaction with what you are doing. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to facilitate for us to be like that. Now, Arkanu Husn al-Khuluq. What are the pillars, the main components يعني leading to حسن الخلق? What are the main, يعني the definition was given, but now the main things that will give you good character. He starts that by saying الدين كله خلق. The religion, all of it is character. That's what he says. الدين كله خلق. Religion is all character, all good manners and behaviors. فمن زاد عليك في الخلق زاد عليك في الدين. This is a general statement. He says, the one who has more than you in terms of character, in terms of good behavior, then he has more than you in religion. He has more than you in religion. You want to compete with others in religion. It's good character. Compete with them, race with them in being someone with good character. Now he says that Husnul Khuluq, good character, is established upon four main pillars. And he says you cannot imagine having good character without these four. You cannot imagine good character without these four. And he mentions them. He says الصبر, patience, العفة, chastity, والشجاعة, bravery, والعدل, justice and fairness. So he says patience, it will lead the person to endure, to suppress his anger, to swallow his anger, and to withhold himself from harming others, and to be forbearant, patiently forbearant, to be taking things slowly, not to rush, to be gentle, and not to be hasty and basically foolish because of that, because you are too much in haste. So that's number one, patience. Patience, it will give you those other qualities that he mentions. Secondly, al-iffa, chastity, to being chaste, right? Afif. This will lead the person to stay away from the ugly and horrible, shameful statements and action. It will lead him to have shyness and modesty. Shyness and modesty is the head, is the chief of every goodness, right? This shyness It makes you, it's like a feeling within. It makes you shy away from anything that is bad, right? So also this character of being chaste, afif, it will hold you back. It will restrain you from fuhsh, being vulgar, being obscene. It will hold you back also because you're chaste, afif. It will hold you back from being stingy, being lying, backbiting, ghiba, and namima, also spreading tales to corrupt relationships. So the second one is chastity, patience, chastity. Third, ash-shaja'a, bravery and courage. This will lead him to have an honorable, mighty soul or self. It will, courage will make him prefer the high, noble manners and characters. It will make him offer help. It will make him spend, and this basically, yani spending and helping others is basically, if you look in deeply into it, it's the courage within the self. It is this power within the self to actually to take out what you love and to depart away from it, right? Like the money, right? You give it away. You love it so much. You need courage to do that. To offer help, like those people who help others these days, right? They go out, help them shopping, right? Because those people are elderly or they cannot do it, or for whatever reasons, they go out and take the risk in order to help the others. So يعني you are يعني being courageous, having the bravery to help the others. So this courage makes you do this. It will also, courage will help you to again suppress your anger and to become forbearant, because it is this power, this strength within the soul, and the bravery within the soul, that's where you basically harness yourself from being so angry and then executing your anger at people. And Rasulullah SAW gave us the definition about the strong man who he is. He says he's not the one who beats others in fights. ليس الشديد بالسرعة إنما الشديد الذي يملك نفسه عند الغضب. The tough guy, the strong person, is the one who actually controls himself at the time when he is angry. When he is angry, he can control himself. This hadith is a well-known hadith in Bukhari and Muslim. So this is the reality of bravery and courage. It is what? To be able to beat your opponent in reality. That's what it is. And in this case, you are beating your own self, right? So bravery. So we have patience, we have chastity, and we have bravery. Then the fourth one is al-adl, fairness and justice. Fairness and justice will make him justly balanced in his behavior. He will be taking a middle course between the two extremes, the extremes of going overboard, too tough, and the opposite extreme of being too easy, too relaxed to a point that one is negligent. وَلِيَذُ بِاللَّهِ. So, for instance, this justice in terms of spending and being generous, it will give him the balance. Being fair will give him the balance between overspending and being a spend thrift, wasting the money, right? And the other side of being a miser or being stingy or bakhil. Also, in terms of haya, shyness, modesty, what is it? It is a balanced position. It is a balanced point between what? Between dhul, being humiliated and despised, and the other side of being what? Being rude and vulgar, right? So, in between, if you are having the khuluq of adl, the character of adl, then justice and fairness, then you are going to balance yourself between the two. Also, we mentioned the bravery. Justice and fairness, if you have that quality of fairness, you will be justly balanced. Because what is courage? He says, courage is basically uh, the middle point between being coward, between being a coward, جبن, and التهور, being nuts, يعني not يعني someone who doesn't care about anything. He's mad, he will do whatever he wants to do. There is no يعني he cannot control himself. So you don't want to be the extreme of being cowardly, and you do not want to be the other extreme of being what, being reckless, completely reckless. The quality of justice and fairness will make you justly balanced between the two. Also, justice and fairness, al-adl, will make you also balanced, having the khuluq of al-hilm, the patient forbearance, the forbearance. Forbearance is just basically taking the middle course, the middle point between um being too angry and being too lowly, and having no worth, yani being worthless, being too angry for yourself, or being worthless completely, right? The two other extremes, being justly balanced, having adl, having fairness and justice within yourself, then it will make you in the middle point. So these are the main pillars of good character, which are basically patience, chastity, الصبر والعفة, الشجاعة, bravery, courage, and al-adl, justice and fairness. Now, he would mention the other side too. Where do the character, bad characteristics or bad behavior come from? Where does it come from? It is based upon four pillars also. The first one is al-jahl, ignorance. He says ignorance would make the person see what is good to be horrible, and what is horrible to be good. What is complete and perfect, he would see it to be deficient, and the opposite is true. Why? Someone is being ignorant. والعياذ بالله. Second is الظلم, injustice, oppressive, being oppressive. This will make the person uh, put something not in its rightful place. الظلم وضع الشيء في غير موضعه. To be unjust, to be unfair, is to put something not in its rightful place. Third is الشهوة, lusts or desires. This lust and desire, this يعني within the human, it will lead him to becoming greedy, becoming stingy and miserly. It will, because the desire is so strong, he will not be chaste. The person will not be chaste. He will, try to fulfill that desire regardless. Desire for wealth, desire for sex, desire for whatever. Doesn't matter how it is achieved. No, والعياذ بالله, no chastity. Why? Because the desire, the lust is so strong, and one is willing to go, يعني, the lowest of the low. It doesn't matter. Imagine now what happens to those والعياذ بالله, who are addicted to alcohol or addicted to drugs. يعني they are living a life that death, wallahi, death is better than it, right? Because they are willing to do whatever. They are willing to give up whatever for that drink or that drug. والعياذ بالله. The fourth is al-ghadab. The fourth cause, the fourth foundation for bad character, it is al-ghadab, anger. Anger will lead him to have pride and arrogance, and will lead him to have hate and rage, وَلَيَذُ billah, which will also lead to transgression and being completely foolish in their behavior, as long as they execute their anger. It doesn't matter. He says, now he mentioned these four. Let me tell you again: ignorance, injustice or unfairness, being oppressive, wrongdoing, desire, uh, lust and desire, and the last one is anger. He says, from every two of these, from every two of these, you can make up even more and more of bad character, because exactly as the good character, like what was mentioned, the first of the four, like when we mentioned justice. So justice, it will lead you to bravery, it will lead you to chastity. So those good qualities, if you combine two good qualities, you can make more good qualities. Likewise with the bad qualities, وَالْعِيَاذُ billah, each one of them is bad by itself, but if you combine it with another one, then you can make more and more evil characteristics. وَالْعِيَاذُ billah. Example: someone, imagine someone who's uh, knowledgeable, has knowledge, but he has oppression, right? There's some sort of, this will take away. But if you have someone who is ignorant, and on top of that he's oppressive, he's oppressive with ignorance, right? ظلمات بعضها فوق بعض, darknesses that are on top of each other. So someone is ignorant and he is oppressive, and he has a full desire, too much lust. Imagine what he will do with that. And if he has this anger on top of this, then it's like, والعياذ بالله, so many, a gun with many bullets, والعياذ بالله. Each one of them will shoot and finish the human life, but then if you combine them all, then that's even more and more, and makes it far worse. So this is the case. Now, what is the way to purify yourself? Now you knew importance of good character, what to do, how is it in dealing with the people, what is the good character with the people, the place of good character in the religion, and the pillars that will lead to good character, and the pillars that will, the main qualities that will lead, or the main qualities that will lead to bad character. Now, I want to have good character. I want for myself to become a better person. How do I do that? What is the way to purifying the self? Right? Yani, how to change the character, how to steer and direct yourself to have a good character. He says, here he gives an example. He gives an example. He says that, imagine a river, hmm, a river that is springing for a certain place, and then it's flowing, right, down towards a city, towards a city, and it is causing like a strong river, causing like a flood. It will come to the city. It's directed towards the city. It will come. It will drown the land. It will break all the buildings, demolish, destroy all the buildings, all the plants, and whatever they have, the al-umran, whatever buildings. And so having this يعني, river that is going to do this, we have three groups of people. The first group, how to deal with this river. They said that we will just stop this river from coming. We build a big dam, يعني, something to stop this water from flowing, right? But the water is so strong, the water is going to come regardless, and it's gonna come and sweep everything on the way. So, I mean, they this is what they thought, but it does not work. The second group, they went even further. They said, "They know what? You know what? Then we're not gonna build a wall or a dam to stop it. We are going to go and end it from the source where the river is springing. We are going to go there and wipe it out, right? Not allow it to spring, not allow it to flow." And of course, this is something that is يعني, like impossible. The nature of the river, and what can you do to it? That's the way it's created. It springs, right? So they tried to close it up, but the way he's describing, every time they put something from here, yani few bricks from here to stop it, the spring will open up another, go from the other side. They will put few bricks in there, it will open up another way from, and like this, right? Now there is a third group that came and had a different opinion than group one and group two. What did they say? They said, what we will do, since this river is flowing and coming towards our city to wreck it, what we will do is we will just try to channel it, يعني, in a way that we will drive it and direct it away from the city, and we will open up channels for it to go into places where we will benefit from it, يعني, to the farms and to the area that needs water for plantation and like that. So this is how they chose. And definitely the third group, they have chosen something that is feasible. You can direct the channels of the river, the way it flows. You can direct that, and you can even open up, after directing to a big channel, you can open up a small channels on the side, right, to drive it and to make the force of the flow, yani ease up, and open up side channels, so the water will go different areas and will benefit more even, right? So this is the example that he gave us of the river. He will use it for the soul or the self. And it's already he explained that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created the humans, the animals in general, having these two powers, the power of anger and the power of desire, right? يعني this will, يعني, in there, it has anger and it has desire, and these two main qualities, يعني, it's natural, part of the instinct of the being, and they actually, they are the ones, يعني, the two, the anger and the desire, they carry within them the qualities of the self, of the soul, right? And they are centered in every human being, and even the animals. Yani with the desire that Allah created, the lust and the desire Allah created within you, you bring towards you things of benefit, right? Desire to eat, desire to procreate, and the likes of the desire to يعني become better. and you have the power or the quality of anger by which you actually defend yourself, and you stop anything harmful from reaching to you, right? So basically, these two powers, the power of anger, the power of desire, shahwa, they are the river in the example that he gave. He's saying these are the this is the river. This is the river. And this river is flowing in your human nature, and it goes towards your heart, the heart and the other good things that are built around your heart. If you let these rivers of anger and desire flow as they please, then they will corrupt your heart and corrupt everything nice that is built around it. So the souls of the people, the souls that are ignorant, that are oppressive, they left it. So it will corrupt the land of Al Iman, the heart and what surrounds it. It will corrupt the land of Al Iman, and it will demolish its buildings completely. And these types of people, they are the people of the fire. وَالْعِيَاذُ بِاللَّهِ. As for the people with the good souls, then they wanted to stop these two powers resembling rivers, strong rivers. They wanted to stop these powers from corrupting the heart, which is the place of Al Iman, where the Iman is carried. So he said, what did they do? A group of them, they wanted to actually cut it off, shut it from its source, like the people who wanted يعني like the monks, ruhban, mysticists, claiming mysticism. يعني most of them are liars, even with the monks, they claim celibacy, and then you find them immersed in it and all of that, because it's just against the basic human nature. The basic human, they try to cut it out completely. You cannot do that. You are a human being. Allah put this instinctive qualities within you. You get and this power to push away harmful things. That's why you get angry, right? And desire, you want to fulfill your desires, and you should, right? So this is the case. And those the ones who are serious amongst them, or the ones who are sincere amongst them, right? They are in a continuous battle, and are they going to achieve anything? They will not be achieving anything. They're just, you know, spending the whole life that they're living. They're spending it in what? They are spending it in the fight, trying to uproot these qualities which cannot be uprooted. It's impossible to uproot and to cut off. And you have the other group, like what they have done with the river, and they are trying to stop it, stand in the way, put the blocks, and put the dams, and put the whatever walls, in order to stop that river from flowing. So يعني آه، يعني these two groups, they are not going to be able to win this fight. There is the third group. There is the third group, and they are the ones who try to direct and steer, like they did with the water from the river. They channeled it and spend it, make it, direct it, drive it to the rightful place where it's going to be beneficial, right? So they will stop it from harming, and they will steer it and direct it in a way that will become beneficial for them. So they did not try to stop it and cut it out, shut it out completely. They did not try to build walls and dams in front of these, just hindrances. There is no benefit in that. Rather, they went with the flow, but they directed the flow in the right way. So let the flow go on, let it flow, but then steer it and direct it to the right way. And therefore يعني uh, uh, they have treated these powers of anger and desire in the right way. So يعني he says that this third group, the balanced group, the fair group, that did not go against the human instincts, the human nature. There is no point in going against your human nature. That's your nature. You cannot change that, right? But you can tweak it. You can fix it. You can direct it, right? You can balance it. That's what they have done. He gives the example. He says that this third group, they saw that these qualities, they were not created in vain. They were not created with no purpose. The anger and the desire, they were not created. Imagine someone who's not angry at all. See, not angry at all. Someone comes and hits him, slaps him on it. He looks, thank you, and he gives him the other cheek, right? And then imagine someone like that. Is this someone? This one is not gonna be able to live. And if they don't kill him, والعياذ بالله, right? يعني he will die out of sorrow and sadness and grief, right? And so on and so forth. He gives the example here. He says that this third group, they realize that these qualities that Allah created with for them, part of their instinct, part of their nature, they were not created with no purpose. They are like the example of water. You can use it to water roses and flowers, and you can use it to have يعني thorns يعني thorny plants grow. You can use it for to water plants that will give you fruits, and so on, so forth, right? So this is the case. They've directed it to the right plant, or the right result. So for instance, al-kibr, al-kibr, pride, pride that the person has, it resembles a river. He says it resembles a river that you can use it to water al-ulu wal-fakhr wal-batar. You can use it to grow within you the feelings of superiority, that you are superior than the others, boastfulness. Hey, I'm a special kind. I'm the noble race, right? Al-batar, يعني being lavish and being, so much, يعني thinking that you are so high, يعني and so happy with whatever you gain. يعني be too proud, too proud with whatever Allah has given you of wealth, and like that, right? And this might lead you to الظلم والعدوان, oppressive, being transgressing against others. So pride, that's one way you can use it. But if you imagine pride as the water, right? Exactly like you can water, you can grow these bad qualities within you. You can use it to grow within you, to water the plant of علو الهمة, high ambitions and aspirations, right? يعني you say, يعني I'm above. than to fall into these, right? So you have ulu al-himma. Where this coming from? This pride that Allah created within you, this self-worth that you feel within you. This is an original creation by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala within you. You can use it to direct it to that side. Also, الأنفة الحمية المراغمة لأعداء الله. يعني this pride will lead you. You can use it. You can use it in the good qualities of not accepting to be humiliated, the zeal to defend yourself, and the zeal to defend the truth and to fight the enemies of Allah, the enemies of the truth. And he gives us the example of Abu Dujana radiyallahu anhu ardahu fil Jannah, that he was in the battlefield and he was walking the walk of someone who is proud, right? If you see it in normal circumstances, then you say, why so arrogant? Why is he walking like that? Too arrogant. But then in that place, Rasulullah SAW praised it. He said that إنها لمشية يبغضها الله إلا في مثل هذا الموضع. Surely it is a walk that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala hates except in this place. Except in this place. Why is it praiseworthy in that place? Because it shows the enemy that you are big and macho, and you are strong, right? يعني it might cause them, it might instill fear in their hearts. Another example that he mentions in the authentic hadith in Sunan Abi Dawood mentions also the pride, but then he mentions alongside with the pride, he mentions the pride that is praiseworthy in the fight. He mentions وَعِنْدَ الصَّدَقَةِ, and at the time of giving charity, at the time of giving charity. Pride now, giving charity, not pride yani boasting at others, pride within you yourself, proud that you are giving this, yani proud that you are giving, proud that you are giving in a way that will encourage you to give more in the way of Allah, right? Don't worry about the money. Allah will give you, Allah will provide for you. You take pride, you take pride in giving in the way of Allah, to give to the poor, give to the needy. This pride at that time when you are giving is a praiseworthy pride. Then Al-Imam Ibn Qayyim, he tells us here, فانظر كيف صارت الصفة المذمومة عبودية وكيف استحال القاطع موصلا. He said, look now how the bad quality, pride, right? Originally, pride supposedly, has turned into an act of worship and servitude to Allah Azza wa Jal. And look at the same time how something like pride, right? It's supposed to be a hindrance. It's supposed to be an obstacle from being good. It actually has changed. It has turned into something that actually connects you with your objective, with your purpose, on your path, on your way to paradise. So this is how يعني we should use. And he mentions the al-hasad, right? Al-hasad, envy, right? This is not يعني praiseworthy in all of its aspects. يعني you see someone who knows the Quran, memorizes the Quran, right? You should feel that يعني I want to be like him. If you have no feelings like this, you are dead يا أخي. You are dead. You are dead. You see someone knowledgeable, you see someone giving donations, you see someone who is devoted to worship, you are supposed to have envy. Envy not in the sense that you don't want him to have that, no, that you want to be good like him. And if you do not have that sense of envy, it doesn't matter to you. You know, you don't know. You memorize, you don't memorize. You worship, you don't worship. You obey or you disobey. Then you don't have a heart. You need to look for a heart. والعياذ بالله, and the ahadith about the envy and لا حسد إلا في اثنتين, that no envy except in two, they are also well known. The point is that the nature that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created for the human being, those powers that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala instilled and centered, put into the center of the human being, these natures and powers that you cannot stop them, you cannot shut them down, you cannot take them away, you cannot end them, they are there, right? Then, if you are wise, if you are intelligent, then what you will do, you will try to once again control these, direct them into the right direction so that they will not corrupt your life, and they will not go against your objective of achieving or reaching paradise. So this is the case. Finally, he tells us that character is two kinds. Some of these are natural, يعني some people are created being يعني calm, created being you know wise, or created having not يعني balance in terms of anger, forbearant, right? Taking things slowly. Sometimes Allah creates the people like that. And then, so some qualities are there. You might have this quality by nature, right? But then there are qualities that you gain, right? مكتسب, you earn. And that is, you earn them by this, trying to know how to direct them in the right direction so that they will not corrupt your life. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to adorn us with the best of the qualities. And in the dua of the Prophet ﷺ, in the opening of the salah, Allahumma ahdini li ahsani al-akhlaq لا يهدي لأحسنها إلا أنت واصرف عني سيئ الأخلاق لا يصرف عني سيئها إلا أنت. Asking for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to guide me, to guide us to the good character. No one can guide to the best of the good characters except you, and to turn away and drive away from us the evil characteristics, for no one can drive them away from us except you, subhanahu wa ta'ala. And once again, many du'as, there are many du'as in the Sunnah asking Allah Azza wa Jal for good character, and to make us from those who perform dhikr, to make us from those who perform shukr, and so on and so forth. Yani, we should use these du'as, inshallah, to يعني in order to achieve this. يعني we do our best, and at the same time يعني we do our best in learning and applying what we learned in terms of becoming good or having good character. And at the same time, always we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to beautify our morals and manners, inshallah. It looks like there are some questions here. On Friday, some people in our area pray Jumu'ah at home. Is it allowed? And they make khutbah at home and pray. Uh, uh, okay, give me uh, after class. Okay, so basically, this question about praying Friday at home, يعني it is not legislated to pray Friday at home. يعني in our case, for instance, يعني we have an excuse not to pray in the masjid, exactly like when there was rain. When there was rain, And the mu'adhin said, "Sallu fi buyutikum, pray in your homes." The people who prayed in their homes, they prayed dhuhr, not they prayed Jumu'ah. That's what we know, right? Now, يعني, those who do pray Jumu'ah at home, what do we tell them? Is their prayer invalid and they have to repeat it and pray Dhuhr instead? Or is it okay what they have done? Allah knows best. We are not, I'm not aware of something that will invalidate their prayer. The Jum'ah, you need a jama'ah, you need a congregation, and you need, the khutbah and like that, right? So if they did this, then I don't see a way of telling them your prayer is invalid, right? Unless it can be said that, well, this is a bid'ah, this is an innovation, right? However, of course, من أحدث في أمرنا هذا ما ليس منه فهو رد. The one who innovates in this matter of ours, that which is not part of it, then it is to be rejected. However, in this case here, there is a debate, there is a give and take, of the excuse itself, and how excused the people are. There are those who feel that the excuse is not up to the level, and that's why they're saying that we are trying to do our best. We are commanded to pray the Jumu'ah. We are prevented from praying the Jumu'ah where in the way we are supposed to pray it. So we do the least of what we can. That's what I have heard some of them say. Allah knows best. Once again, the choice in this matter is that we have an excuse not to pray Jumu'ah. The masjid is not a condition for the validity of the prayer. The masjid is not a condition for the validity of the prayer. So the Jumu'ah can be prayed in a place other than the masjid. So in principle, if people prayed, they are a congregation, they are a group, and they prayed, in principle, that prayer is valid. And we cannot invalidate the prayer of the people without having a crystal clear evidence, except that in this case, as I said, when there is an excuse not to pray the Jumu'ah, then you pray at home, you pray Dhuhr, you do not pray Jumu'ah. And in this case, if we judge that this is a bid'ah, then the salah is actually invalid then. However, there is give and take in this, there is discussion regarding that. So the advice is not to pray Jumu'ah at home, rather pray Salat al-Dhuhr. And that's that, and Allah knows best. جزاكم الله خيرا. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. We see you tomorrow, inshallah. Tomorrow, same time, around same time, and we are doing the same book every Saturday. The book on paradise by Imam Ibn Qayyim, Hadi al-Arwah, inshallah. We do that tomorrow. بارك الله فيكم. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.